Here's the classical mixture problem. So we've got, okay, now my pen's ready. So we've got an 8% acid solution, and I'm going to say that X is the amount of that, and it's liters. So liters of 8% acid solution. And then we also have a 20% acid solution, so I'll call that Y, liters of the 20% acid solution. And because we have two variables, we're going to need two equations. So one is, there's a grand total of 5 liters. So if you add the two amounts of liters together, it has to equal 5 liters. There's one equation. And then the next one is going to use the percentages. So first of all, when I change the percent to a decimal, 8% becomes 0.08, 20% becomes 0.20, 12% becomes 0.12. So if you use, oops, that's supposed to be 0.08. So if you use X liters of the 8% solution and you multiply, that's going to be how much acid there is contributed by the X solution. And then if you take 0.20 times Y, that's going to be the total amount of acid contributed by the Y solution. And then there needs to be 5 liters, that's 12% at the end. So that means we'd have 0.12 and then times 5. A common mistake is to forget that 5 right there. But if you notice, this is a decimal times liters, a decimal times liters, so it has to be a decimal times liters to be consistent. So now we have two equations and two variables, so we will be able to solve. And I'm going to use substitution. So this top equation, I'm just going to solve for y. So subtract x from both sides, and y equals 5 minus x. And then I'm going to substitute that in for the y value. So the bottom equation becomes, well, I'm going to do two things at once. I am going to substitute this in, but also I don't want to deal with these decimals, so I'm going to move all of the decimals over by 2, or in other words, multiply both sides of the equation by 100. So this would become 8x plus 20 times y, but then replace y with 5 minus x. And on the right side, 12 times 5 is 60. And then we're almost done. So distribute the 20 times 5, which is 100, and then 20 times negative x is minus 20x, and then it still equals 60. So if you combine the x terms, that's going to be negative 12x, and then subtract 100 from both sides. And on the right side, 60 minus 100 is negative 40. And then just divide both sides by negative 12, and the 12s are going to cancel. So we get 40 divided by 12. So what is 40 divided by 12? Well, I'm just going to ask my calculator, and it says that it is 3.333, and then I'll put L for liters. And we could use this equation to find out what y equals. So I just need to do 5 minus x. So y equals 5 minus 3.333. And that would equal 1.66, and then if you round it, 7. And then I just need to label my answer. So the x was the 8%. So use, and I could even go 3.33 is 3 1/3 liters of 8% solution. And then 1.66, that is 1 2/3 liters of the y, and the y was the 20% solution. And there we've solved the chemistry problem.